Okay, today we are going to, your assignment for today and tomorrow, let's do on Tuesday, is to draw one side of to make an assembly of one side of your popsicle bridge. So I'm going to show you how I would do that, but there's different ways you can do it. You should always, though, start with construction lines and make sure that your sketch is fully defined. So I'm going to start by drawing a line. Then I'm going to go up to my pencil tool, select tangent arc. I'm going to drag it over here. Then I'm going to go back and do another line, make sure I start it at the end there, and go like that. Okay, so I've drawn half of my popsicle stick, but there's some things that are a little bit off. First off, I deselected my line tool. I want to select the point and the x-axis, and my iPad's acting up a little bit. Didn't like it. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to select coincident. So now it's coincident, now it's centered on the x-axis. Now I'm going to select these three lines, and I'm going to go down my pencil, I'm going to go down to mirror on the left-hand side. It says select a mirror line or plane. I'm going to select that line, and it mirrors it. Now all I need to do is dimension it. I believe the popsicle sticks are 0.375 tall, and I believe that they are 4.5 inches long. And then, so now it's fully dimensioned. Notice how everything's black, which is exactly what we want. We're going to go up to our ball and hit extrude, and the depth is, I think it's 0.083. Okay, so there we go. We have our popsicle stick. Okay, so now the bottom left, see how it says Part Studio and then it says Assembly? You're going to touch where it says Assembly, and that takes you to the Assembly tab. Then on the top, there's like top left, you see like an arrow pointing to the left and then an arrow pointing to the right, and then it looks like a piece of paper with an arrow going over the top. You're going to touch the piece of paper with the arrow going up at the top, and that brings up your Part Studio and your parts. So you're going to select the part 1, and you're going to put in as many as you need. So I'm just going to put in 3 for now. I can always go back and insert more. And then when I'm done, I hit the check mark at the top. And you can see here, it says it has on my feature manager tree on the left side, it shows I have 3 parts, but it only looks like I have 1. But that's just because they're right on top of each other. So a couple of different things you can do. There you go. So now we can see all of them. One thing you can do is you can take your part 1, you can go to the 3 dots next to it, and you can say fix so that it doesn't move, okay? That's one thing you can do now. You can try moving it, it's not going to move. It's fixed there. So now if we make things to that, then that's a good, that this part's not going to move. Everything's going to move relative to it. So next we're going to go back up to right where we inserted parts. Just to the right of that, it has our mate tool. So we're going to click on that. We're going to hit fasten mate. And there's a couple different things you can do. So when I go to do a mate, I first select the face and the point, and then up in the upper right corner, I push on this little orange ball to unlock it so I can rotate it around, because I want this face on this side and that point. And you can see that it mated them, but look, they're like right on top of each other. A couple different tricks you can do. One, if you down here, see where the little circle is underneath offset with the dots? You click on that, it rotates it 90 degrees at a time. Now you can't rotate this like 30 degrees, or you can only rotate it 90 degrees, but you can rotate it like that. So that's one thing. So that looks great, but looking at this, maybe I have my popsicle sticks overlapped a little bit more than that. If I did, I would click on offset. And here I can input an offset distance. Now look, this made them go further apart, but I want it to go closer together. So I can make it a negative 0.5, and look, they overlapped. So look at that. And now you can see over here that the mate's right there, okay? And if I click on it, it highlights the parts that are involved with that mate. So if I need to edit or whatnot. Okay, but I actually want to do a different kind of thing. So I'm going to delete this mate. I want to do a different mate. So I'm going to move that a little bit. So now I want to show you a different mate. I'm going to go back up to this tool up here. I'm going to do a revolute mate. I'm going to select the same side and point. And then over here, I'm going to select this side and point. And look, it looks pretty similar to what we had, right? But you know what you can do is you can put on limits. Okay, so these are angle limits. So if you put, it has a minimum and a maximum. So if I don't put any limits in it, then what I can do is I can grab my popsicle stick and I can move it. I can move it anywhere I want. The problem with that though is sometimes if it's not defined what angle it is, then sometimes it moves around on you. And so you'll have it all set up a certain way and then something happens and it moves. So it's best to like define what angle you want. So if I go in there and I edit this under limits, I can put in like a number. I put 45, let's see, 135. So actually let's do this, 120. Make it about 120. That's my minimum. If I make my minimum and my maximum the same, then it's going to be exactly that. If I made my maximum like 150, then I could go like this and I could move it between those angles, right? Those minimum and maximum angles. But I want to make it precisely 120 without it moving. So there we go. Now I can go and make another one. I can do revolute mate. Select that face and that. Select the orange ball so I can rotate it around. Select this and that. Go to limits and let's see. Actually, let's make this 60 and maximum of 60. Now, the problem with this is not perfect because you can see that these popsicle sticks overlap, but you know what? We're just gonna say that that's close enough for what we're doing today. Okay? Then I want to show you another trick. So here I have a triangle. Let's say you have lots of triangles on one side of your bridge. In the bottom left corner, you click on this arrow and you hit the plus sign and you write create assembly. So now you can see on the bottom, now it's just added in a tab, assembly 2. So now if I go up to the top by my left arrow, my right arrow, my paper with the arrow going over the top, you're going to select the paper with the arrow going over the top. And here it's got Part Studio 1. But if you select right above Part Studio 1, you can see it says Parts or Assemblies. If you touch on Assemblies, now it brings up any assemblies you have, and it has Assembly 1. So I can touch that. I'm going to touch it twice. You can touch it 5 times, 10 times, and however many times you're going to have those assemblies. So now if I select an assembly, I can move it, right? And now I can go and mate my assemblies. So now I can go and I can do, like, say, a fasten mate. And let's say I'm going to select that and that. And let's have it mate to that and that. Now when I did that mate, it made it look like it messed things up. But I don't think it did. Hit the check mark and then everything should go back to how you want it. So it made it, but it made it at this funny angle. I'm not quite sure why. So I might want to go back and instead change this to a revolute. I don't think I can go in here and change this to a revolute. And I can do limits. And let's see. So it's close, and I can keep playing around with it till I get it just so. So I got it just so, but I need to put in my upper limit to match. So there we go. So, and you keep building and building until you have one side complete. Good luck.